Hey, what's up, everybody? So we're back for the Let's Play. We're going to continue the series here. Let's Seduce Me The Otome. I started playing the back another save, and I'm like, wait, I swear I've seen this stream before. Didn't he say this before? Oh, wait. And then after about 2 minutes, I was like, oh, wait. I already played this version. I played this set already. So here we go. We're going to start back up. Sorry for a video not being up on Friday. I apologize. It got away from me, and it just didn't work out. It just wasn't my day. So here we go. I went to bed at night feeling nervous. Despite the words of the incubi, I felt like a strange target to something I had never been able to explain or prove. Magic? Devils? Demons? How did that even all happen? Should I really meddle with the situation? They are only staying until after they defeat Malix. That's right, they said. They'd only stay until they defeated Malix. After that, my life could go back to normal. Temporary insanity, as Kay would say. The question was then, what would I want them to leave? My life went back to normal. Then I'd have to care for the house all on my own. I'd get to focus on my life instead of being distracted by the boys. I'd have to... My life. Where was my life going anyways? I was under pressure from my parents with only my friends and the boys to cover me. Without the boys, I'd have nowhere to hide from my responsibilities. Where is this going? Enough. Let's just sleep and deal with tomorrow when it comes. Oh, yay. Defeating my sense of thought, I forced myself to sleep, unsure of what tomorrow had planned for me. Hopefully, whatever the future had for me, I would be ready for it.
I promise to be with you forever.
Whoa, what is that? Whoa. What is telling me they're going to be with me forever? This is now really creepy.
You're so important to me.
Duh.
I swear I'll give my life to you.
Well, where is this coming from?
Please, let me love you.
Okay, that was James. That's Eric.
I'll be by your side, always.
That's the angry guy. I forgot his name is.
I can't imagine living without you.
That's Matthew. Did I say Matthew already? Yeah, that's good.
I want to be with you.
I'm confused.
I love you.
I have no idea who that was. Slowly I opened my eyes, letting the voices of my dream echo in my head and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up and looking at my clock. 7 a.m.? Why am I up so early? I fell back into bed and slowly closed my eyes, trying to go back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive. You are in a house with 5 incubi. Oops, sorry, 5 incubi. You have met 1 demon and 1 thing you do not know what it is. I think that's a bad saying. I gave up, sat up, staring at the fireplace across my bed. A sigh escaped from between my lips before I even threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 a.m. in the morning? I don't like any of those. Who does homework at 7 a.m.? 3 a.m. I decided it was a good idea to wander around the house. I never really explored it much as a child, so there was bound to be some new surprises. Well, come on, feet. Let's go on an adventure. Hi, feet. We're kind of sitting here. Oh, that's weird. Sorry. Okay, better now. I exited my room, hoping that the boys were still asleep. I began to wander the halls on my end of the house, opening each door to find what room each door led to. Quickly, I found an old office. The desk chair that sat on the far side was as large bookshelf of documents and memorabilia donned its nooks and crannies. There were a couple of pictures of me growing up peeking from the shelves as I walked further into the room. I don't believe I've been here before. Tried to recall memories of ever seeing this room, coming up with nothing as a result. This room was new to me. Did I want to disturb the furniture? I'm curious. Why are you telling yourself you're curious? I gently opened the shelves in my drawers I saw in the room. Many drawers I saw in the room. And a couple of them were books and even sewing kits. I assumed they were used for my grandfather's toys, so I left them alone. One drawer, however, was locked, no matter how many times I pulled it. Grrr! Come on! Open! Nothing. It wouldn't budge. The drawer beside it, though, did reveal a laptop. Why is there a laptop in the drawer? And why are you talking to yourself? I lifted it from the drawer and carried it over the desk and chair, opening it. It was a high-tech laptop with a retina scanner as a pass lock. I was not sure whether or not to try and unlock it or not. Ooh, try. I decided to try. I turned the computer on and leaned my face near the retina scanner, lining the camera up with my eye. To my surprise, I heard a ping from the computer before the screen opened to a desktop. Huh? Look at that! Ooh, I learned something. On the desktop, there were documents and folders labeled with different aspects of the Anderson Company. Taxes, profits, bylaws, products. The list went on and on, as if I really did want to become the CEO of Anderson Company. I had everything about it at my fingertips. Dad would sure be impressed. Why do you care what you... Girl, you are so ridiculous. One icon, however, stood out from the rest. Vorgo? Vorgo? Like Vertigo, but Vortigo? I double-clicked on the icon, but no window came up. Instead, I heard a large click from the drawer that was locked. Oh, this is going to be fun. What the... I slowly left my seat and walked over to the drawer, attempting to open it again. It slid open smoothly in the direction from my pulling hand, revealing two books. One was a plain black journal with a tie to keep it closed. The other was bound in leather with cryptic symbols all over the cover. I took out the journal and skimmed through it, seeing my grandfather's notes. They were all detailed explanations and opinions on his findings on demon magic. He really did know about magic. I sat down at the desk to read through the journal further, finding drawers and sketches of my symbols, magic circles, each with their own different meanings and effects. It was fascinating. There was even a page of important spells to know. I read through them, trying to memorize them in my mind. I did not know what came over me, but I started to feel more energetic and more powerful simply by reading my grandfather's notes. I was suddenly aware of the energy that surrounded my body and the power that was around the house. The more I read, the more powerful I became. See, if I didn't do this, I never would have been able to. However, my mind suddenly froze, and I found myself walking back to the drawer, pulling the book back, closing the drawer. The lock reset, and I snapped out of it. Huh? What? I shook my head and looked at the drawer, reasoning that what I had done. I walked over to the desk to reopen the lock, but suddenly I felt the need to stop. Something held me back. I did not want to pry any more than I already had. I was curious beyond belief, but I obeyed my thoughts for now. Eventually, I would come back and look into it. I returned to bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag me under my covers to try and sleep again. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. It was Sunday, and nothing was happening today. Come on, eyes, back to sleep. Shut my eyes and tried to slow my breathing. I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet I felt like I had slept for much longer. Why was time going so slowly? I sighed, got changed into normal clothes, and went into the main hall and sat down the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sounds of a battle caught my attention. Huh? I quickly went out to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yard were all 5 boys practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle with the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicking at him. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Nah, just let them go at it. I watched. The boys were very much into their own world, focusing on training. They were all in. It's better not to disturb them. I checked the time and decided to head inside the kitchen. I was getting hungry, and I'm sure the boys would need to eat soon, so lunch was a must. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Lunch wasn't practically hard. I decided to make pizza! Pizza's always good no matter what time of the day it was. Do we have any? Luckily, we had some pizza in the freezer to heat up. Pizza a la Moore's bakes with love. Pizza a la Moore. Well, it's just... You didn't even try on that one. I didn't even try. Had all the makings of the pizza types, including pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, extra cheese. Just top it, bake it, and serve it. I'll have to get more later. I placed the food in the dining room hall. None of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried the dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separate to bring into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular, but the other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand and eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys are focusing on training. That's a hard one today. Go to my room and eat. I decided against bothering them. They knew where the food was, so I went to my room instead and ate alone in my room. It's not my problem. I turned on my computer and started to jam to music that as I ate my food. As I ate, I began to think about going out. There were so many places to go, things to do. Pink Lady Cafe, stay in my room, arcade, grandfather's grave. Let's see, if I go to the grave, could be magic. Probably run into Malix. If I go to the cafe, Kay will be there, probably what's-her-face as well. If I stay in my room, who knows what'll happen in the arcade will be Suzu. I don't even remember the other chick's name. Man, I'm bad at this. Let's go to the arcade. I arrived at the arcade, ready to spend some of the cash on fun games. I didn't want to be stuck at home on Sunday. Besides, the arcade would always had something new to play no matter how often you came. I began to wander the aisles of the machine, scanning over them to find good game to play. I played a lot of the games already here with Suzu, so it was just a matter of finding a good one. What finally caught my attention was a crowd of people surrounding a group of machines. I got closer, peeking through the crowd to see Suzu sitting in a race game versus two other players who were in the same machine behind Suzu. From the looks of it, Suzu was losing. It was causing her anchored face.
You're going down.
Jerk. I stifled a giggle, watching Suzu remain playful under the stress. She's adorable but feisty. A truly spicy Italian. I observed Suzu finally. Okay, her name's Suzu, but she's Italian. Okay, I finally caught up with her opponents and passed them with ease.
What the?
Moron.
Hurry it up.
Later, losers!
The crowd began to cheer, watching Suzu beat the other guys and slide into first place. As the lights and sounds began to blare in celebration, the two jerks left the machine in a huff and Suzu stood up.
Good game, everyone.
Slowly, the crowd began to disperse, leaving me standing to applaud for Suzu alone. Suzu smiled as she finally saw me, walking over to me.
Hey, what brings you here?
I didn't want to be stuck at home, so I came here. I needed to have some fun after yesterday.
Yeah, man, I get you. Yesterday was full of tightwad business guys, and me and Naomi were pretty uncomfortable.
Naomi, that's the other trick. Really? I'm really sorry about that. Suzu laughed and waved her hand. She then leaned against the racing game and put her hands in her pockets.
So what do you plan on doing here? Oh, really? What game do you think you could beat me at?
I think we can do some major damage and beat our high scores in robot extermination. Suzu grinned from ear to ear, nodding before taking my hand and heading over to the machine in question. It was cute to see Suzu like this. She was always an adventurous type and loved the sight of her beyond anything. I guess that's what kept our friendship strong for so long. I can only guess what's going to happen now. Eventually, we'd reached the large machine covered with images of robots disguised as animal mascots in blood. We took our plastic guns and swiped the game cards across the credit slot, giving our credits into the game to play.
You take left, I take right?
As usual. Let's go! The game quickly started up and we blasted our way through the hordes of zombies, landing more headshots than professional shooter tournament players. Suzu and I have played this game often. It's pretty much had become our go-to high-score game. We always kept the top 5 spots on the leaderboards for ourselves. As we finished the first level, though, we were stunned to see a new leaderboard at the loading screen.
Someone took number 1?
Oh, hell no.
We maxed that level, right?
Suzu looked at me with a very familiar deadly look in her eyes. She was determined to regain her number 1. So was I. I knew what this meant. No deaths, quick reloads, and consistent headshots and Easter egg points. The whole experience itself ran 2 hours straight with the main game and the sequel programmed into the machine. Once you finished one, you immediately began the next until you reached the end of the second game. At least it had some cutscenes to take breaks between. It was tough, but we got this. Suzu nodded before putting her game card in the breast pocket of her jacket and readying herself for the next level. I braced myself for a long game.
Hey Anderson, let's make this a little more fun. Whoever has the least amount of headshots has to treat the other to lunch.
It's almost 2 p.m., Suzu.
There's such a thing as late lunch.
Alright, you're on.
Second level. Start.
That was creepy voice. And we're off. Virtual bullets began to fly across the screen, slamming into the heads of multiple robots and causing them to fall on the floor or die out. One by one, Suzu burned through the game like our lives depended on it. We eventually had a crowd form behind us, cheering us on and offering us food so that we wouldn't have to leave the machine. Most of them were guys who like girls on gun ash. Oh man, this just keeps getting weirder. It's weird. Do you see the stress in my eyes, guys? This is really, really weird. Oh my gosh. But some of them were actually excited bystanders, hoping that they would take back our high score. We used Activic, taking breaks between cutscenes and level changes, but we remained true to our goal. Eventually, we made it the final boss, a giant black bear robot with red eyes and deadly attacks. Oh my gosh.
Let's go, Anderson!
Right behind you. The crowd behind us began to cheer as we began our final battle. Our legs were a little wobbly, but we were too into the game to care. All we cared about was the large red bar at the top of the screen slowly emptying with each bullet we fired into the boss's body. We only had a few shots left when someone called out,
You girls suck!
without missing his shot. Suzu and I replied at once.
You wish we did!
Oh, you wish we did, sorry. That was terrible, Suzu. That's just awful. And you're better than that. Before landing the final blow on our opponent, the death cutscene flashed and played on the screen. The scream of the robot bear booming through the speakers. Suzu and I weren't excited just yet. We were waiting for the high score screen to appear. It was the final high score screen of the entire game, so it was the most important screen in our eyes. Come on, come on, come on, come on. The screen popped up and revealed our code SCA as #1 score in the game, knocking down the mysterious MAL opponent in second. That's Malix. Oh, dumb people. The crowd behind us went ballistic as Suzu and I hugged each other tightly in joy. It was like stepping over a major milestone despite only being an arcade game. We did it! Woo! The second stat screen came up, separating Suzu and I from our hug delight. It's a matter of accuracy. I was better. However, Suzu had more kills and headshots, making her the winner of our little bet.
Booyah! Free lunch!
Yeah, that's all you care about. Haha, alright. Where to, boss?
I just want some drive-thru food. I've been eating way too many home-cooked meals, man. I need at least one unhealthy meal.
One unhealthy meal. That's pretty good. Suzu's family was indeed an Italian family, but they were very self-conscious about their food. They were quite possibly the healthiest family I knew. Susan and I left the kid, occasionally stopping to give praise or be asked a question about our gaming skills. We eventually headed out to the parking lot, where a decently used jade motorcycle sat with chains around its wheels. Suzu quickly took off the chains and took a seat on the bike, getting out 2 helmets, placing one on her head and ushering me to sit behind her. I followed her gesture and made myself comfortable on the leather seat behind her, putting on one of the helmets. Wow, that is not the spelling for helmet. Helmets. Wrapping my arms around her waist. Maybe no, it's not. Oh, I had ridden with her on her motorcycle before, so it was nothing new to us. Suzu revved the engine and quickly sped out the lot, driving into the streets towards a fast food joint.
Does Paradise Parlor sound good? I'd love some Paradise Nuggets and cheese fries.
What? I can't hear you. There's a motorcycle engine. Yeah, sounds good. Oh yeah, yeah, sounds good. Never better. We went through the drive-thru and ordered meals for ourselves before heading home. Suzu parked in front, watching me discount from her bike.
Thanks for late lunch.
It's like dark out. It might as well be dinner now. Suzu and I laughed. It was funny how time flew by.
Oh, nah, man. I gotta head back home and watch Francesca while my folks meet up with some bigwigs from the casino.
Casino? Okay, see you in school then.
Thanks, though. See ya!
I waved at Suzu as she quickly headed out of the gates and back home. I smiled as I watched her go before heading back inside. Suzu stuck around in my mind a little longer than I expected, but I couldn't help but smile. The remainder of the night passed by, surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. It was mostly like they had already eaten, but still, I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good to go to bed that night. I felt I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. I felt good. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly the next morning. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I had that much good sleep? I looked at my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, hey, it must be lucky day. Karma owed me some luck after I'd gone through a really handful of days. I deserved to get some good luck. Ecstatic for my day ahead, I turned off my alarm before they could ring, got dressed, however my phone started to quickly buzz from the incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this early?
Yo, Anderson! You're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
Okay, Suzu. I smiled. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet, and I couldn't have a car, so it was awesome for my friends to let me carpool. I checked the time. 6:30. Perfect. I can eat some breakfast before they came. Come. Yeah, whatever. I packed my bags and carried it downstairs to the kitchen. I quickly made myself coffee and toast, not having time for anything big. I let out a soft sigh in happiness as I sipped my coffee. It felt great. I felt like nothing could stop me today. Come at me, Day. I'm ready for you. I looked at the time again. Time to go. I quickly rushed the door, checking myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't wanting to impress someone, but I still need to look decent. And right on cue, Naomi drove up to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed at the door and headed to school, talking about homework and the coming day. We made it to school without a hitch. Our lockers were in the same part of the hall, so we quickly unloaded what we needed to get our important books and necessities. First necessity of the day. As I walked towards Suzu and Went, who were both waiting for me on the opposite side of the hall, something hooked my ankle and made me fall forward. Hooked my ankle. Whoa!
Hey, are you okay? Who did that?
The three of us looked back to see Lisette and her gaggle of girls. Lisette had a look of complete innocence while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow.
Why, you little... Suzu, don't!
I felt a giant fire of anger burn my stomach as I stared at Lisette. Today was not the only time it had happened to me, however, and it was now clear who was behind the incidents. Even if she was innocent, one of her group did it. It was obvious that Lisette was the mastermind just from the look of her face. She was no friend, nor would she ever be. I had to do something. Glare into her soul. What? Oh, so I'm gonna get her. Let's see. Choices, people, choices. Glare into her soul. I like that option. That just glare into your soul. You're evil. Or do the that explode, you know, that'd be kind of cool, but that ain't gonna happen. Stand up and walk away. That's great, let's get her. I had enough. Ooh! That was kind of awesome. I felt the adrenaline rush in my body as I pounced off the ground and rushed at the set. I was not going to be the only one with scripts this time. I tackled Seth to the ground, whipping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and block my attacks.
Holy shit!
Oh man, this is awesome. This is awesome. I wasn't listening anymore. I let my carnal need of revenge take over as I began to pull Lisette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hand. Oh my gosh, this is violent. I had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insults, all of that was going to burn in the past as I scraped my hands across Lisette's face over and over. Oh my man, this is... My rebellion would mark on her pretty face for all to see. Lisette pushed me off her scrabbling feet, both panicked and angry, but at the same time her motion was nowhere close to the anger I was feeling. Oh my...
Are you crazy? What the hell?
I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lisette's soul through her eyes. I must have had some sort of monster behind me, or maybe I looked like a monster myself. But the gaggle goes, Lisette, even my friends had to look of pure terror on their face. Oh. Oh man, good times. I had enough of you, Lisette. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it. Oh, jeez. I charged Lisette a second time, shoving her hard against the locker. She let out a yelp of pain as she smacked the back of her head against the metal behind her before glaring and shoving me back. I stumbled back. Lisette raised her hands, ready to fight. Oh man, this is gonna be...
Then come on, Anderson. Show me what you've got. I bet it's not much.
I'm sorry for laughing, guys. I need to take a moment. I'm absolutely losing it of how crazy this is. Here we go. We keep going. I felt myself snare in anger before raising my own fist. Remembering my taekwondo, I quickly snapped it on one leg and raised the leg to get a swift kick to her head, but she blocked with her arm and stepped towards me at a jab at me. She had training, not surprising. I didn't care at the moment. I bent back from the innocent jab, reestablishing my balance as I placed both feet on the floor. Lisette threw a jab at me, forcing me to block my torso. My face at the arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lisette and I exchanged and hit blows at each other. It was indeed more than a cat fight. This was a vengeful duel. In my mind, all I saw was Lisette, and all I wanted was to make her stop. If that meant beating her down, then it had to be done. I was eventually gained a small crowd of people, all silence, but observing the fight. My anger intensified. My hits came harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I could not let her win. None of the Lisette's girls dared to step in, apparently afraid to, after seeing our skills of our individual fates. Suzu was held back by Naomi's arms, despite both of them wanting to help me. They did not wait long for it to end, though. Suddenly, Lisette was pulled away from me. I was pushed against the lockers by a strong force. Lisette hit the lockers as well, on the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a curly grin of pain. I looked up to see my art teacher, Miss Coulson, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern on my face. Oh, her face, sorry.
Anderson, what are you doing?
Yes, this is awesome. I looked to see Lisette being held back by Miss Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon to confront her. Miss Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. No, don't dare start crying, Lisette. You started this.
Miss Anderson, get a hold of yourself!
What's wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? I couldn't stop the angry tears from my face as I shouted across the hallway. Lisette and Miss Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I'm sick of it. Leave me alone. Eventually, I lost my energy and began to weigh down on Miss Gordon's arm, letting my sadness take over and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me to keep me upright as Lisette sniffled and confided with Miss Phillips.
I didn't do anything to her. She just attacked me all of a sudden.
That's never true.
That's a lie, Lisette. You tripped her on purpose. You've always been a snobby prick to us.
Never! I gave my condolences about her grandfather's death. I try to keep everyone calm. Is that so wrong?
You didn't even sound sincere. We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us.
Enough. Miss White, follow me to the dean's office.
Lisette followed, wiping her eyes in afraid innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Miss Gordon's arm, unable to bring myself to fight to get Lisette again. I had done my damage. The gaggle of Lisette's wannabes would make sure I became infamous around the school. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lisette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Oh, good times. Miss Gordon, however, was not done with me.
Come with me, sweetie.
I nodded and followed. My friends frowned as they watched me leave, but they headed to class without me. Miss Gordon led me to an empty classroom, which she had claimed as hers. It would look like all the other classrooms, but art posters lined the wall. Many students loved the room, but hated one thing: the mirror in the very back of the room. It was one thing Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me in front of it.
What do you see?
Could be. Huh?
Tell me what you see.
I looked in the mirror and saw myself. My clothes were a little ruffled from the fight, but beyond that, I saw me. Nothing about it seemed different than normal. I see myself?
Alright. What else?
What else? I don't understand.
Do you know what I see? I see a brilliant woman who has been working her butt off to try and find herself. She just has a little bit of adversity in her way.
Adversary? What does this have to do with what happened with Lisette?
Listen, don't think about Lisette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through.
I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right. I was still lingering on what happened with Lisette. I know Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't find the thoughts in my head. Miss Gordon gently rubbed my shoulders, snapping me from my thoughts. I looked up to see her smile down through the mirror.
You know, those are some pretty interesting moves. Taekwondo.
Okay, I'm really... yeah. Yeah.
You'll have to show me one day.
I laughed as she hugged me gently.
Look, don't let Lisette get to you, okay? You have your own battles to face, and you can face them just fine. Instead of fighting Lisette, focus on you.
That was fun. I looked up at her and nodded slightly. It was cliche to hear, but she was telling the truth. I need to focus on myself first. I can talk, guys. She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me that she could handle Lisette. The fear about my family learning of this is what it quickly appeared had vanished when she promised to keep me out as much as she could.
Everything will be fine now. You're a good student, so I'll let you off with a severe warning. Just don't get into any more fights, okay? Now, head to class.
Oh. okay. Most schools you get suspended for a couple of days. I get suspended for a couple days, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. Yeah. No, you get suspended. I think. Maybe most days. I don't know. Never kicked anybody's ass in school, so I hated high school, so I don't know. I wouldn't know. I didn't fight anybody in high school. Wanted to punch a few people in the face, and I know who you are, and I'm gonna get you one day. I just joking. I'm not gonna get you. I let high school go. Never been to a reunion. It'll be 10 years this spring. God, I've never been to a reunion. I don't want to go. I don't want to see you people. I don't want to see people anymore. Do you realize that? That's why I don't want your friends on Facebook. No. I got a life. I don't like high school. I hate high school. I don't want to go back there. Okay. Sorry, let's keep going. Boom! I nodded before I in class. Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went out without another incident. I went to my class, had lunch, was anxious to get home. As the bell rang for the school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. Huh? A text? From Dad? I'll be picking you up to make sure you're ready when I get there? Okay. That's kind of a surprise. I quickly headed back to my locker and got my things before waiting for Naomi and Suzu.
Hey, are you ready to go?
Actually, my dad's picking me up.
Really? Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you covered from now on.
Yeah, haha, alright. Why the laugh? Even when I laughed, sometimes it didn't seem right. My dad texted me to say this. Why was he going to pick me up? Had I done something wrong? I didn't know. You only got in a fight at school. Yeah, and you kicked the girl's ass. I'm sorry. I waved goodbye to Amy and Susie before heading off to the usual spot where my dad picks me up. It took time to listen to my music. I took time to listen to my music while I waited. I need to go to another Rise of the Phoenix concert. Eventually, I had played the entire album with no one showing up. What the? Hey, Dad's never late. Especially not this late. I quickly dialed my dad's number again, but soon I pressed call. I disconnected and read signal disconnect error message. What the? No signal error? How do I not have signal? Double click my phone and saw 5 bars for signal. He must be in a dead zzz. Before I could finish, a group of hands grabbed my hands, feet, and covered my mouth. I screamed at the hand, and my mouth struggled to pull away, but the hands grabbing me grabbed my limbs. Oh, I felt disgusted, scary feeling my hands on me. I needed to stop. I don't.
Hey! Don't dirty up Malix's prey.
The voice, which sent a fearful shiver down my spine, whispered in my ear.
You're coming with me, Miss Anderson.
I couldn't fathom what was happening. Before I knew it, I was blindfolded. My limbs were quickly tied up. I felt myself being carried somewhere, and I was shoved into something that echoed the interior of a van or bus. The doors closed, and I was off. I was taken, unsure of where I was going and why. All I knew was that I was in trouble. As I saw the darkness, I felt numb as I was taken to a place I did not know. I could not even move my lips to scream. Sound zipped past my ears, first as if the interior of the car, then the outside, then an echoey space within the whispers and crack of people's vibrating through it. However, I wrapped my eyes around my eyes, was eventually removed from my face, and my bonds were cut. It took a while for my eyes to adjust, but I found myself in a warehouse surrounded by devils, including Malix, who was smirking at me.
Nicely done! I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
I don't even know what's going to happen here. Malix walked over and set a barrel of his gun against my skin between my eyes.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
Wait, fight, wait, fight, wait, fight. I don't like any of these options. Just kick Lisette's ass. I could see Malix pull the trigger before bracing myself. Haha, that's what I thought of demon magic.
What the fuck?
I opened my eyes again to see Malix jamming his fingers against the trigger, trying to shoot me to no avail.
Well, she either has a barrier spell on her, or you're losing your power.
Shut up! I'm not losing shit! This little brat must have that spell on her!
I felt a wave of relief in my body. The other devils laughed at Malix, which made him angrier.
I said, shut up!
Gun suddenly moved his gun toward a nearby devil and pulled the trigger. I stared wide-eyed at the bullet from Malix's gun rammed itself into the neck of the devil's body. Devil boy, that wound sprouted fire and blood, causing the devil to scream and flail in extreme pain before falling limp to the ground. As the body hit the floor, it began to deform and melt. Blood and black ash poured out of the wound, and every opening in the body had, causing the smell of death to quickly fill the room. I felt like gagging at the body eventually stopped moving. When the body became like a deflated balloon, showing me the true nature of Malix's gun. It was now just a pile of blood and skin. The bullet had burnt up the muscle, bone, and any structure the body had given its form. That could have been me. That could have been me.
Anyone else wanna laugh at me?
I'll laugh at you, Malix. Huh? The devils around shut their mouths, obeying the warning of the obvious master of the space. Malix growled before glaring at me.
As I was saying, it must be some holy magic or some shit like that. There it is.
The girl who kidnapped me stepped up beside Malix, looking at me. Malix wrapped a strong arm around her waist and pulled her tight against his side before burying his face against her neck. Eris didn't react, but continued to stare at me as Malix ravaged her shoulder and neck in violent kisses. Eventually, Malix pulled away, licking his lips into Iris's face.
Be a dear and get rid of her barrier. Now.
Without another word, Alex walked around me out of line of sight. As I turned my head, trying to follow her, Malix raised his gun to my face once again, forcing me to stop moving.
I may not be able to shoot you yet, brat, but there are other ways I can beat the living shit out of you.
No way this was happening. No way was I going to let myself be a victim of this. I gotta remember, what was in that book?
What are you whimpering? Are you praying that the boys will come and save you?
I kept grumbling, trying to remember, and shut my eyes. Studying for a brief second wasn't enough to keep a spell in my mind, but I had to try something, anything. All of a sudden, the air grew still and silent. I opened my eyes and looked around, and gasped at the sight. Everything was frozen time, as if the clocks had stopped and everything had followed suit. What the? At first, I was instantly wanting to move, but my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? A soft wisp of wind made me turn to a floating light, a purple orb. It stared at me, glowing, giving off a warm feeling. For some reason, this made me feel happy and convenient. Despite the situation I was in, my heart felt like crying, and I didn't know why. It couldn't have been grandfather? As I muttered, the orb slowly grew and faded into the spirit of my father from when I last saw him. I stared up and completely shocked that it was correct and that his form was standing in front of me.
I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubi here after all.
What? Is it really you? What do you mean? My grandfather smiled before patting my head gently. I couldn't feel it, but I knew he tried, so I closed my eyes and acknowledged him before looking at him again.
Sweetie, I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't know if you were ready to know.
You handled the demon magic?
Yes.
Why? What was there to gain from learning and using demon magic?
It wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends.
I knew something like that was gonna happen. You met the boys?
Yes, it was I who helped them come here. But it seems it was at the cost of my life.
So you died. What? Why sacrifice yourself like that? None of this makes sense. He died to bring the incubi into the human world? Why? Why? My mind was practically screaming in anger. I need answers. With time being frozen, we had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone? Why leave me alone?
I wasn't intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you.
What?
Your father had always been so hard on you. I'm to blame for that. He learnt of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps. As he was my son, I still loved and cared for him. I helped him in little ways, from paying bills and making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now.
I stared, trying to take it all in, but it was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it.
When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier. I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but many of them were tossed away by your father to protect you from me. I thought I would never be able to see you, but when I found you on the street, I was blessed enough to be given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed.
Why does Dad hate you so much? Why put that on me?
Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you. He wanted to protect you from me at all costs, even if it meant becoming a monster to you himself.
So my dad didn't love me because he hated you. To keep me from you. It's dumb.
You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
He truly does love and care for you, but he doesn't want you to be as curious as I was.
Curious?
I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that was wrong, so when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life.
What a stubborn old man.
So I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owned to you, including my hidden books your father never knew of.
My head began to spin. There was too much information. It was all going too fast, despite time not moving a single inch.
I'm just so happy that my curiosity stayed with you.
So my grandfather met the incubi. That seemed so surreal. I could hardly believe it. Yet there was a spirit of my grandfather telling me. It was almost like a dream. So you introduced them to the human world?
That's right. I told them about the wonders of our world, and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere, and I helped them as they learned more about humans. Then, I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, the boys tried to come back. However, Malix attacked them instantly when they crossed his path. I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate so they had a place to stay to heal.
Okie. So that's why they were in the house. But they said they didn't know about the house belonged to anyone.
I never told them it belonged to anyone. I merely told them to head to the estate for shelter until they could learn to live on their own.
Interesting. If the estate was meant for them, why give it to me?
I never knew your father would move you in so quickly. Even still, you managed to learn of them and learn of the demon world. You even were curious enough to study the magic.
Yeah. Why not teach me when I visited?
You were too young to understand. I was hoping that you would make the choice to learn on your own when you were ready to handle it. And you did. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm still really confused. Why? What are you saying? I barely began to read it. I don't remember anything.
I will help you remember.
Okay, my grandfather's dead. It's gonna help me remember magic, of which I have no idea what to use it for. Then my grandfather gently bent down and kissed my forehead. All at once my mind began to fill with spells and history of arcane magic, the demon world, and everything my grandfather had known. I looked up at my grandfather again, now able to remember everything and more as he smiled down at me.
Never forget. Make your own choices and do what you need to do. Don't let someone determine your life for you. If you decide to never look at magic again, I'll understand. But now at least you know it's there.
Okay. My grandfather then patted my head before turning and walking away. I tried to follow him, but still unsure and lost as ever, my feet remained stuck to the floor. Wait, please! He didn't turn back and he didn't stop walking. Soon he vanished past the wall, leaving me once again guilted with my teeth, trying not to cry. My mind was filled with both power and to defend myself and a large amount of confusion I never hoped to shake off. I could feel the air around me starting to move again, so I tightened my hands into fists, trying to push away my concerns. I had to remember, I was Malix's captive. I had to escape. After I escaped, I had to figure out my life. Soon the world around me returned to normal, with Malix mocking me. I closed my eyes and began to mutter a spell from my memory. Spiritus Illuminati da Fortimentavuma? Duma?
What the? Latin? What are you?
Decido! All of a sudden, a wave of light burst from my body, punching over the room and pushing the demons away from me to the ground. As the light quickly faded, I jerked my head via a small reach as my legs. Now she knows magic? What the? Oh man, what a day. Quick, this guy hopped up and growled at me, obviously surprised, but irritated beyond belief.
Where did you learn that? I will rip that tongue right out your mouth!
Spiritus Turbulus Ferobi?
Come here!
Malix charged at me, dropping the gun, thinking that it never hurt me to the floor and reaching for my face. However, I quickly crouched and covered my head with my arms until the dark magic circle appeared under my feet. Above me, dark shield applied, blocking Malix from touching me.
How? You're just a human!
A human who knows how to fight back. I pushed against the shield, forcing Malix back before standing. I wasn't at some danger stuff I could fight for myself. I shook out the sudden appearance of numbness in my hands and glared at Malix, challenging him once again to come at me.
Malix!
No! Stay out of it! I'll kill this thing with my own two hands, one way or another!
As commanded, Eris stood away from us along with the other devils. The group watching us was lost in intrigue as I stood up against their leader.
Oh, you must think you're some tough shit since you know some demon magic, huh? Well, guess what, princess? Demon magic consumes energy. I could do this all day. If you use all your energy, your ass is grass.
Okay. I glared, knowing that he was true. What he said was true. I couldn't hold out forever, but I definitely had the energy to last a while until someone found me or until I could outpower Malix somehow. Malix charged me once again, causing me to run backward to keep some distance. I could feel energy wanting to shoot out of my hands, so I pointed my palms at Malix. Lighted purple spikes suddenly began to shoot from my hands, forcing Malix to skid back. I had terrible aim, only able to scratch the edges of his body with one or two actually stabbing his shoulder and leg. Malix growled, putting out throwing them to the ground.
Quit playing around, Malix!
I lowered my hands, feeling the numbness run through my veins to consume the body of my arm, began to pant, desperate for some relief before continuing. Malix smirked at the sight. Oh, for the love of God, please someone find me, I prayed. I hoped that I wouldn't have to keep fighting. I became desperate. What made everyone in the warehouse drop our fighting faces was the screeching of the police sirens coming close to our location. Malix smirked even wider.
It's time to have fun, boys! Make sure you kill them all!
The devils all seemed to get excited and start to walk past us to meet with cops. But a loud finger snapped, stopping them, made them turn around. Malix and I looked at Eris with her hand in the air, post-snap.
Eris? What are you doing?
Enough, Malix! We've wasted enough time in this stupid town. getting out of here, and I'm taking the rest with
Ooh, yeah. I did not know whether to laugh or not. I bit my tongue as Malix got angry again.
Like hell you are! Boys, do as I say, or else!
None of the boys moved. Eris snapped her fingers again, causing the boys to rush back past her and another way out another way from the warehouse.
Malix, it's over. You can't even beat a human girl. You're losing your powers. Lower devils only follow higher-ups that actually have power.
Shut your mouth!
Malix summoned his gun to his hand and shot multiple times at Eris, who somehow managed to teleport away from the shooting line and reappeared by us. She shook her head, letting out a sigh before grabbing Malix by the neck and pulling him off me. Malix started to choke as Eris stared coldly at him.
All this for a bunch of pretty boys. You must be stupid and desperate.
Eris looked at me, making me tense up.
Human! I suggest heading home to your pretty boys. You don't want to get involved in a supernatural investigation. It's a pain in the ass.
She turned back to Malix, glaring daggers at him as he glared back at her.
You really think women are weak? Let me fix that, sweetie.
And with that, Eris vanished into the shadows, taking Malix with her. As I was left alone, the police siren stopped. I looked over to the open passage to see the incubi with a large cop siren megaphone staring at me in surprise.
Where is he? I swear I'm gonna...
He's gone. Eris took him and left. They won't be coming back. It was so surreal. I was helped by a devil, but I quickly shook off the feeling as I was alive and that's all that mattered. I fought to stay alive, and there I was. The boys tried to question me, but James cleared his throat, catching the attention of his brothers and me.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
Altogether, we began to walk out the warehouse back home. There was no way in hell anyone was going to find out about this. It was over. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here for guys. It went a little longer than I have been, just because of the fight, and then I couldn't really stop. So I'll continue this back up. I will definitely keep going. This is interesting. It's getting really crazy now. And yeah, I don't know. So I will see you guys again. Bye.